Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 6, and today we're taking a look at the 2022 Honda E. So this is a subcompact hatchback electric vehicle that was produced between October 2022 and January 2024. However, it was ultimately cancelled by Honda due to the poor sales, which were put down to the fact that it had limited range and non-competitive pricing. So Honda were hoping to sell around 10,000 a year in Europe. Unfortunately, it never even achieved half of that for a single year, and they were hoping for around 1,000 sales a year in Japan. Unfortunately, the most it got in there in any single year was around 700. So, yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't a success. But that's not to say that this car is bad in any way or shape or form. Yes, you could say it was a bit too pricey and the range isn't the best, but how often are you doing a journey that is 100 plus miles in a single day? Not often. And at the end of the day, you can charge this from 10% to 80% in about 30 minutes time if you've got the right charging point. So you could comfortably do a couple of 100 miles in no time at all in this vehicle. So yeah, I really don't put it down to the limited range more than anything. I think it's just the costs that really sunk this car, because ultimately there were cheaper cars out there that did more miles and probably offered a little bit more in the way of practicality. But still, this is a great car overall, especially in terms of the design that it's got going on. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And then add on to that the fact that, add on to that the fact that you've got the a decent amount of interior space with a really nice looking vibe to the interior as well. I like the bank of screens. I like the fact that you got cameras for mirrors, and then I like the wood that it's got going on with these really rather nice grey fabric seats. Really does look like a kind of like a retro 70s living room or something like that. And yeah, you've got some physical buttons, so not everything is in the screens. You've got buttons on the top of the dashboard there and below. And yeah, you've got your drive modes down there as well. Drive, neutral, park, and such. So and obviously reverse. So yeah, a really rather great looking interior, to be honest, and decent amount of rear legroom on the go here. Not class leading by any stretch of the imagination, but still pretty decent. And you've got a solid sized boot as well. Not the widest of entrances, but wide enough once you're actually inside of that. And yeah, the actual platform that it's based on is also great. So it's got a water-cooled battery pack that is carried within the wheelbase of the car, below the floor, to provide a 50-50 weight distribution and a low centre of gravity. It's also got McPherson strut independent suspension for each of the wheels. And even though it is an EV, which typically means, being really rather quite heavy, this is actually quite a lightweight in compared to most EVs at only 3,336 pounds. And what is powering this car? Well, it's a 35.5 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery that powers an MCF5 permanent magnet brushless motor, and that will give you 134 horsepower and 232 pounds-feet of torque, which is decent enough, although there was a more powerful 152 horsepower battery option that you could get, although that did offer the exact same amount of torque. So yeah, 18 extra horsepower. Not sure how much that would actually affect the acceleration or not, but I can't imagine it would have affected a great deal. But still, if you want that extra bit of punch off the line or, mid-range clout, then maybe that battery option would be for you. But regardless, still plenty powerful enough. And yeah, at the end of the day, this is a great looking vehicle. Really stylish. Not in a way that I feel like it's going to age all that poorly either. And it's also got rear wheel drive, so it's got a really rather good handling on the go as well. And plus, with it being rear wheel drive and rear engine, by the way, so the motor is at the back, means that the front wheels can turn a lot sharper than your standard vehicle. So it's actually got quite a tight turning circle as well, which really fits the kind of city car aspect of this car, which it is a city car at the end of the day. I don't really see this as being a motorway cruiser or something that is going to be driven long distance or anything like that. So yeah, the city driving will only be benefited from that really rather tight turning circle that you've got on the go there as well. Apparently it's not much worse than the iconic London black cab turning radius, which is iconic and well known for how tight that can turn around in a circle. So yeah, but nonetheless, let's get out onto the Son circuit and see what this car can do. So yeah, mispronounced the track name. It is Sony circuit. Still getting used to all of the different names on this game as it stands, but still, let's nonetheless see what this car can do first, and then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, being electric is as quiet as anything, but you know, that can be a benefit. You know, enjoy the music, enjoy the atmosphere of this game without the introduction of any kind of engine noise. But still, it's reasonably rapid for a car that, you know, doesn't have all that much power and is far from the lightest of hatchback vehicles out there. As yeah, it can do 0 to 60 in 8.783 seconds. Although it does only have a top speed of 94 miles an hour, although you can get a little bit more than that with some downhill help. But still, overall, yeah, a really rather nice car to drive, to be honest, and one that, you know, fitting the right mood or right environment is can be really rather fun to drive as well. And yeah, it can also slide about fairly nicely as well when you push it a little bit too hard, just because obviously it is rear engine and rear wheel drive. Yes, it has that 50-50 weight distribution, but you can definitely tell that, you know, it's got the power going through the rear, not the front. And yeah, it's not often that you do get solely rear-wheel drive electric vehicles as the only option, should I say, because there are rear-wheel drive versions out there that also have all-wheel drive as an option. That is not the case for this car, although you can upgrade it to have all-wheel drive. You can also upgrade it in terms of the standard battery pack, and you can also swap in 2 different battery packs as well if you so wish. One of which, when upgraded, will give you more than 1100 horsepower, which I'm sure is pretty cool. And you can also get a wide body kit on this as well. So yeah, there's a decent amount of options when it comes to this car, but on the whole I do enjoy driving this in its standard form, just because it is relaxing and yeah, reasonably enjoyable. No, it's not a gonna tear your face off in terms of acceleration or, you know, handling abilities and such, but I still think it's a car that I still think it's a car that's well worth being on this game, and with the Japanese setting, it more than makes sense, even if it didn't sell all that much in Japan. So yeah, I highly recommend trying out this car. I have an upgraded version of one of these in A class, I believe, and yeah, I've been really enjoying that in terms of online racing as well. But as standard it goes, yeah, it's a decent enough car in terms of its performance and its handling, and it's rather engaging in terms of its handling as well, certainly far more so than the I think it was the Volkswagen ID4 that we had in the previous Forza Horizon game. Certainly a far more engaging car than that, even if it's not any real all that much quicker in terms of straight line performance. But at the end of the day, looks great, and it's reasonably fun to enjoy in terms of driving it. And yeah, like I said, being electric, it means you can soak up the atmosphere and the scenery and such with this car, because you're not going to be going too quickly. But that can be a benefit in its own right, and just enjoying the world that the car is in of itself. And yeah, like I said, if you do wish to have more power in this car, then there are plenty of upgrade options to choose from. I highly recommend trying those out, by the way, because you can have a really fun and somewhat competitive vehicle online with this as well when it's upgraded properly. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this car if you've tried it already, but if you haven't, I do recommend doing so. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.